Everything in life is an exchange. Money, sex, attention, time, visibility. They all run on the same current. They're just different forms or physical manifestations of the same energy. And the way that current moves through your system tells the truth about your life. When the flow is clean, things sink easily. You attract without effort. You create without burnout. And when it's not, you call exhaustion purpose. You call leakage generosity. And noise success. Clean exchange isn't about boundaries. It's about learning how your energy actually circulates and what it costs when it's blocked. In this video, we're getting underneath all of it. The foundation beneath money work, healing work, visibility, and even relationships. Because again, all currency is one current. And once you understand how it moves through you via intake, circulation, and output, everything else makes a lot more sense. You'll see why when one channel is off, whether that's money, sex, relationships, visibility, all the other ones start to mirror it. And more importantly, you'll see how to bring them all back into integrity without overcorrecting or collapsing. Everything that is alive, which really is everything in our world, in the universe, participates in a flow economy. You breathe in, you breathe out. You receive and you give. You eat and then you poop. It's the same thing with energy. There's intake, circulation, and output. That's the natural rhythm of energy, until or unless guilt or fear interfere, in which case energy starts compensating rather than circulating. This is where you give too much. Or on the flip side, you hold everything in because receiving doesn't feel safe. Either way, there's an imbalance and eventually the system crashes. Clean exchange isn't about doing less. It's about balance and letting energy move through you in a way that's honest, efficient, and alive. Most people don't have a giving problem. It's much more common that we have receiving problems. In the old paradigm, a lot of us and our parents and their parents and for generations, people spent their entire lives earning safety by trying to control outcomes. So even good things can feel dangerous to the nervous system. That's compliments, opportunities, money, love, travel, whatever. So we often don't push things away because we don't want them, but we either push them away or collapse beneath them because our body doesn't know what to do with them. Real abundance starts happening for us when we finally feel safe enough to allow big, unfamiliar things to move towards us without flinching, collapsing, or resisting, or planning how we're gonna give back. That's the first clean exchange, is a hard yes to receiving without anything else, just full reception. Once you fully receive something, there's another process that we go through. And this is where we metabolize the energy. This has to happen in order for the energy to kind of become yours. And most people living in survival skip this part. So it's sort of a dance from receiving to performing. Like, okay, I got it, so now I need to prove I deserve it and give it back or do something right into action. This is what causes burnout. It's a lack of integration. Energy moves, but always unintegrated. Or living in a state of the mental sphere only, which I think goes hand in hand with reactivity. It's like taking in the tiniest little sip of air, and then immediately exhaling out. Hardly ever truly inhaling and then taking that beat at the top. It's like a tiny little inhale and an exhale, and an inhale and an exhale, and it's a very reactive pitter-patter back and forth, back and forth. Whereas the opposite would be more of like a deep belly breath in, holding it for a second there for a beat, and then letting it go, and then holding it there for a beat. There's like space in between each breath in and out. What this does is it allows you in an embodied way. Again, this is where we need to get really clear. There is a difference between moving through life, living in the mental sphere. When we are living in the mental sphere, this is when we are not circulating, digesting, metabolizing, integrating. That is the state of reactivity. When we do allow that space, the beat at the top and the beat at the bottom, and we bring ourselves into our bodies and we truly metabolize energy that's given to us without immediately feeling the need to prove we're worthy or earn our safety or whatever it is. It allows us to actually slow down enough to translate energy before rushing into a reactive state of action. It's not a reaction to fix, to repay, to teach. It's this natural way of letting something settle, because you realize you don't even know how to act until you integrate what you've received. It's misinformed reactivity. And that's what keeps us so disconnected and so misaligned unconsciously, because we're not actually moving from that place of integrity or center, because nothing has landed. We don't even know how we feel because we're constantly living in a disconnection to it, or from it. Disconnection from it. Output is, of course, the visible part. This is your work, your voice, your care, your creativity, everything you give to the world. Everything. How you show up in relationships, the things you say to people, when you compliment someone, when you give gifts, what you're producing in the world. And when it is fear-driven, and when you're skipping over that integration, you may look very generous on the surface, but it's really debt repayment. In other words, you're sub or unconsciously giving to regulate anxiety. This is, again, appeasement, people-pleasing. Clean giving feels genuinely completely different. This is not performing generosity. It's not, oh, I'll do this because this is what people do, or because this is the expectation of me, or because I'm not going to be I'm not worthy if I don't do that. Real generosity that comes from a genuine, healthy flow of energy comes from overflow. It's when you speak because truth is moving through you, not because silence feels unsafe. When you create because the current or the purpose or the message is asking to move, asking to be heard or seen, not because your worth depends on the outcome. That's not performance. That's precision, that's integrity, that's alignment, and that is overflow and abundance. All currents share the same structure. It's all the same. They're just different iterations or manifestations of the same energy. And so wherever there's distortion, it's going to show up in other places as well to mirror that. If money feels stuck, look at where you might be hoarding emotional energy. If sex feels disconnected, look at where you're afraid to receive pleasure or support. If visibility feels draining, look at where you're overexposing your energy for validation. We don't have isolated issues, ever. We have one system that provides data in a bunch of different languages. And I promise that the moment you clean one channel, the rest start to follow suit. Because energy does not compartmentalize. It communicates and mirrors. Your nervous system is your financial system. Every emotion is a deposit or a withdrawal. Every yes or no sets an exchange rate. Rest is not laziness. It's interest accruing. Joy is compound energy. And every single time you say yes when your body means no, you're taking out a loan that you will repay and burn out later. Clean exchange is when your emotional account stays funded consistently, reliably, and you stop living on energetic credit. Energy never stops moving. The only question is whether it's flowing cleanly or compensating for a block. When your system stops leaking, life stops chasing you. You stop hustling for alignment because everything you touch starts to sync naturally. You don't even have to manifest anymore. You circulate. You let current move through you, not around you. And that's when everything, money, sex, attention, creativity, all finally start speaking the same language again. Because it was always the same language. You just cleaned up the translation. Let me know in the comments below which current feels the most ready to clean itself right now. Money, sex, visibility, or attention. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more content like this. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.